Hey, all my California homeowners. In this video, I want to talk about EIDL loans again because we're getting tons of phone calls on people who are concerned about their EIDL loans. We'll back up a little bit for those that don't know. EIDL loans are economic injury disaster loans, EIDL. But EIDL is really synonymous with COVID because as far as I know, it came out in COVID and everybody's getting them towards COVID. You can fact check me. I don't know if it maybe existed before then, but I remember it being part of the COVID Act that came out during that time to try to help business owners. So let's draw a distinction. PPP loans were also COVID loans, but those loans were really set up for forgiveness. You were going to borrow money from the government. You were going to use that money for certain things that you were allowed to use it for, like pay your staff, pay your rent, pay your overhead, things like that. And as long as you could prove that you used the PPP money for the right things, the government would forgive it. EIDL loans are different. EIDL loans were set up to be paid back, but the loans are typically have very favorable terms, which means it could be a long-term or low interest to make the payments affordable for you. But let's talk about what happens, right? What's very common. You took out an EIDL loan in 2021, 2022. That business has now failed, or business has got to the point where you could no longer pay your EIDL loan or your other bills. Now, don't feel bad about this. This is extremely common. Think about it. You borrowed money for a business while it was going through one of the biggest transformations in American history, COVID. COVID changed the landscape of many, many businesses. And there's still been headwinds as it goes to being a business owner, whether it's tariffs, high interest rates, etc., etc. So if you are now finding yourself in a position where you're defaulting or going to default on your EIDL loans, you need to determine if bankruptcy is a good strategy for you. I would look at two things as the most important things. The first thing is whether or not you want to keep the business open. And the second thing is whether or not you personally qualify for bankruptcy. Now, let's make another huge distinction. EIDL loans do not have personal guarantees if they are below $150,000. So what does that mean? That means that if you borrowed less than $150,000 on EIDL loans and you default, they cannot come after you personally. They can only come after your business. So that fact, and a quick disclaimer, double check. I don't have your loan documents in front of me. This is not legal advice. This is just for conversation purposes, right? This is for informational purposes, as they like us to say. I'm not giving you specific legal advice. I'm just telling you, if you have an EIDL loan that's less than $150,000, go check and see if you signed a personal guarantee. If you did not, that goes back to my point one. Remember, point one was, are you going to keep your business open? So are you going to keep your business open? It's either yes or it's no. Let me give you an example of a yes, an example of a no. Yes, I want to keep my business open. This is our restaurant. We've owned it for 60 years. It's a family business. We do not want this EIDL loan to sink our business. Let me give you a no. I was a consultant. All of my business has dried up. I'm not making any money anymore. I have no more employees. We have no money in the bank. I just want to close this consulting business because I'm going to transition into a new area of law, or I just got a new job working at XYZ company. Okay. So two very common, but also two very different approaches to whether or not you're going to keep your business open. That's a decision you have to make. But the reason that that decision is very serious is because EIDL, as it relates to bankruptcy, if you're going to file a bankruptcy and try to keep your business open, you are going to be pushed into a more complicated chapter of bankruptcy that deals with reorganization. If you are going to be closing your business, then you should then be going to step number 2, which is whether do I qualify for a personal bankruptcy. Now, stop right there. Do I qualify for a personal bankruptcy? First thing you should be thinking is, do I have a personal guarantee on this loan? So now we're going to break this into two more categories. Category 1 is, do I want to keep my business open? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you go into reorganization bankruptcies. Chapter 11, Chapter 13 is for personal, but you got to look into the reorganizations. So that becomes more complex, more costly, set of payment plans, higher attorney fees. Or the no's, I do not want to keep my business open. Now you look into whether or not you qualify for a personal Chapter 7. If you qualify for a personal Chapter 7, okay, you want to know if you have a personal guarantee or not. If you don't have a personal guarantee, then you might not have to file personal bankruptcy. Okay. Now, another disclaimer, this is complex stuff. After you watch these videos, after you decide, oh, maybe this is a right fit for me, I do really strongly suggest you reach out to an attorney. If you're getting value from this video and you're in California, you can reach out to us, Sternberg Law Group. We're very easy to find online or, through our YouTube channel. And if you're getting value in this, it'd be great too if you hit a like or subscribe, because that helps this get out to more people. If you do not have a personal guarantee, there is the possibility that you do not have to file bankruptcy, because guess what? They can't come after you and the business is closed. But if you do have a personal guarantee and you want to get out of this debt and you're closing the business, Chapter 7. But you have to go figure out if you can get qualified for Chapter 7. In other videos, qualifying for Chapter 7 is not always the easiest thing to do. There's income issues, there's asset issues. You have to look at those things. You have to consult with an attorney to determine if that's best for you. But that bucket, that last bucket of, I want to close my business, I do have a personal guarantee, can I qualify for Chapter 7? That's your workflow. I have an EIDL loan on my business. I want to close my business. I do have a personal guarantee. Start looking at Chapter 7. Okay? Consult an attorney, figure out if that's right for you. Okay? Thank you so much. Josh Sternberg from Sternberg Law Group. I hope everybody's doing well out there.